You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Hello there, folks. Welcome to Champion Cinema. I'm Chris with a Cropsy C. That's so easy.
And I'm Chris with a Kevy Kendall K.
Yeah.
Double K.
Young lady who gets a forehead split open in the bin.
One of the highlights.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, this week it's slasher movies. Two that are always pitted against each other and are very similar for a few reasons. We're looking at Madman and The Binding, also for both from 81.
They just both ripped off Friday the 14th, man.
Although, you
Some
know
would
what,
say.
we almost reviewed Madman in the Beyond because you watched the wrong film.
I did. Which, ironically, The Beyond came out in 1981, so I wonder if that's why I was
81 was a big horror year.
But yeah, I was watching Beyond, didn't even think about it. I just thought two horror movies, they both begin with the B, whatever. I'd, like Beyond Burning, something about it got mixed up in my head. But yeah, I did notes and everything.
Yeah.
So there you go, random extra film for me that I watched.
Oh, well.
That would have been funny if I just came on.
I was going to I said to you, that's one of my biggest random little fears I have for the show, that one week we'll both watch something that has like, it's a film with a generic title, we'll both watch the wrong movie.
Yeah.
And halfway through the review, we're both each going, fuck's he talking about?
Like, we'll watch the remake or something.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it, but Vince Vaughn is the killer. I'm not sure. And you're like, was it black and white, the version of Psycho you watched?
So yeah, let's get cracking then with Madman.
Champion Cinema.
So Madman was released in 1981, runs for 1 hour and 28 minutes, directed by Joe Giannone over here. Stars Galen... I don't know why I always do that with the time. Sorry, Italian people that listen. I can't help it.
You're just going to an Italian
I can't
role.
help it, yeah. Stars Galen Ross from Dawn of the Dead, but for some reason he has just credited as Alexis Dubin as Betsy, Tony Fish as TP, Harriet Bass as Stacy, Jan Clare as Ellie, Alex Murphy, Robocop as Bill, Tom Candela as Richie, Frederick Newman as Max, and Paul Ehlers as Madman Mars. But what's it all about?
Yes, well, in a summer camp where the scariest thing should be getting bit by insects and suffering from sunburns, a group of counsellors accidentally summon Madman Mars, a legendary axe-wielding maniac. And as they're trying to survive the night, they learn that campfire stories are best left untold.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, this was originally planned as a movie about the Cropsy maniac urban legend.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, I've only vaguely looked at some of the trivia, but it's like kind of a famous story that always gets told in camps, is kind of what the feeling.
It's a more of a summer camp story, yeah. And then, of course, they heard, you know, fucking doing the road, they're shooting the Burnings, and they're like, well, so they changed it to their own thing. So for that reason, I think, and the fact that they're kind of similar, like this and the Burning always gets pitted against each other, like, oh, what do you like better, Madman or the Burning? Yeah. So I think that's why they make a double bill.
Yeah, it's an interesting, like, they're both doing the same thing, but then they very much do their own things.
They're very much they're similar, but they're really different movies, I think.
Yeah,
weirdly. Yeah.
And obviously the interesting. Sorry, one sec. Oh dear, that's my phone vibrating. How rude.
How rude.
Yes. And also, you know, very close to Friday the 13th coming out, so it's all very, like, summer campy.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's interesting, isn't it? That, I mean, maybe it's in horror circles, but I think in the mainstream, people don't really give Madman and the Burning credit.
Not really.
Enough, really, to, like, establishing that whole sort of idea.
Yeah, because, like, I think as well, I'm pretty sure this was being shot around the same time as The Burning. And I know that Friday the 13th Part 2 was being shot at the same time as The Burning. So all three of these movies were all being made at the same time. And they all have a very similar scene of people around a campfire telling the story. I don't know if Madman has the fake jump scare, but The Burning definitely does. When a guy comes out in a mask. And that exact same scene is in Friday the 13th too, but they were both being shot at the same time.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Interesting, like, just one of them examples of films kind of accidentally mirroring each other. And
I mean, I'm sure, you know, it's just based off shit that happens at summer camps, but it's just funny that two films did the same thing at the same time, even if it is something slight, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, this does kick off, of course, with sitting around a campfire telling a story, but first we've got to endure what feels like friggin' 25 minutes of Tony Fisher's little one-man Broadway fucking performance.
It's got a very like musical feeling to this movie, hasn't it? You know, like they talk about that new Joker movie being like a musical. It's like at parts I feel like this movie wanted to be a musical.
Yeah.
Just because the opening, I suppose, is very musical. You know, it's very like Halloween-y almost. The
and it's got his little jaunty theme tune as well that he has with lyrics and stuff. That is awesome. I do like that.
It's had the theatrical kind of telling of the story. I'll get to it in a bit, but there's like a bit of a sing-song when they're in a bubble bath and stuff.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that's the thing as well.
It's like
that fucking hot tub scene, which just feels totally pointless and goes on for way too long. It's like the guy doing the bit at the start, Tony Fish, who plays TP, that's one of his songs. There's a few of his songs on the soundtrack.
Was this a vessel for like him doing his music?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he was like, because I think this is the only film he was ever in as an actor. I don't know if he was like mates of the director or the writer or something, and he was like, "Hey, can you put your songs in and stuff?" Like that. But it feels like that. I don't know if that's the case.
It does very much. And like I said, so the opening of this movie is like, it's just a strange like. Yeah, shines the light on him. He holds the camera for like ages. Yeah, tells the story. You're just like, what is this film?
When it cuts back to the Max character, like the older guy, I just expect him to go every fucking night.
Yeah, he's like really fed up with it.
This is like week 6, and he's like every night we've listened to this shit. But yeah, I've only seen this once before, I think. So what did you think of it, like overall, I guess, as an early 80s slasher movie?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was better than what I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it was really good. I thought like it's different. It's different in its own respect. Just the some of the beats of the movie, like it goes in directions you don't quite expect, I guess.
I would say, without jumping ahead, I thought this the first time I watched it. The fucking ending, I'm not sure whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, it's a bit. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan in its crypticness as well.
It just comes out. It just seems like you're heading towards the last 10 minutes of the final girl fighting the bad guy, and then he just fucking sticks her on a hook and his house goes on fire. And I'm always like, what? Yeah. It's very abrupt.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like overall, it's like the film doesn't quite go where you're expecting.
No.
But in terms of like the killing stuff and that, I think the characters are like well established enough that you care about the deaths, and it doesn't quite strike that formula of like just setting up dickheads who were there to be killed. I mean, like
I'll say this: I think they tried, but I still find most of the characters really annoying.
Well, yeah, I suppose in some regard. I just don't know. I feel like. Don't get us wrong. There's like one or two characters that are like deliberate, like there to be annoying twats and stuff. But I just thought like the main Lady Betsy and stuff. And I don't know. I thought like quite accomplished. They felt like good rounded characters. They all had like a decent amount of time, and you understood who. You know, like where you take, for example, some of the like later. Friday the 13th films where the characters could just be anybody.
Oh yeah, they're not one. In the later slash, they're not characters anymore. They're just vessels to be stabbed. Yeah. Basically.
So I think that like it does a decent enough job of like setting some of the characters up. I mean, don't get us wrong. I don't think it does quite as good as The Burning.
No, that's what I was going to get to later. Yeah.
But I think like it still does quite a good job, and like the characters when they do die, you make note of the deaths, and you're not just like whatever.
I mean, the most brutal moment I think is a fucking kill that Madman has nothing to do with, and I think is it the Stacey character? Where she gets like stabbed in the neck, I think, and then fucking Betsy blows her away with the shotgun at the end.
Yes, yeah.
It's so fucking brutal.
Just whoopsie.
Because that Harriet Bass, bless her, she's like the human embodiment of a mouse. She's all tiny and squeaky.
yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think back now. Is that the lady that hides in the fridge? I can't remember. Yes.
Yeah. Another character that I did think was hilarious was the guy that pretty much starts all this bollocks, and he survives, the Richie character who shouts for Madman, and it just keeps cutting back to him about 15 minutes wandering around the woods lost. And I'm like, oh, he's still alive.
That's what I mean. Like that's an element of the movie that you kind of, because you know, it sets it up. They tell the ghost story, the horror story over the campfire. Then they do this weird marching scene where they immediately lose one of the guys which they laughed at. It's like, oh, fuck, good job. But then he goes to like the spooky monster house.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, he's dying.
Here comes the first death. Yeah.
And he just doesn't die. He survives the entire movie. It's like, oh. But yes, he essentially adds nothing to the movie though either.
Yeah.
He just like walks about this house for like an hour and a half, just picking up like leaves and stuff, I assume. I don't know what he was doing.
It's just his fault everyone died. And then he just survives at the end, basically. I did keep chuckling to myself because I had like an idea in my head for an edit when they're all walking around the woods shouting Richie. I just want to fucking like cut out Seagal from Out for Justice walking through the woods going, anybody seen Richie?
Yeah. So I suppose thinking about it, some of the character interactions are a little bit weird.
There's some weird dialogue.
Yeah, like the two. I think it maybe is it Betsy and the Stacy character maybe where they're sitting on the bed in the cabin or something.
Yeah, that's exactly the exact bit where I'm like, this sounds like it was written by AI or something.
It's like porn dialogue.
Yes,
basically.
yeah.
It's like AI porn dialogue. Basically,
I think what it is it's that dialogue where it's like a guy writing who has to write for women, and he's just like, they were talking about blokes.
exactly. Yes, exactly.
Oh, men, they should have a light on their head that goes wah 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 to warn us from them. Oh yes, they should. Sometimes he's really nice, and I'm like, for fuck's sake.
I was expecting any minute though to just be like, would you like me to rub your back or something?
Is your neck still stiff?
Because I was like, oh, what's going to happen? Especially because the fact I haven't seen it before. It's an early 80s film. They've got to get some titillation in there at some point.
You're just like, you want to review a slasher porno.
But no, never goes there.
No. You just get a really good long look at Tony Fisher's arse as he gets in the hot tub. That's the most nudity you see.
The hot tub. I mean, we should just, we've already mentioned it, but fuck me. Like, what's with the whole spinning thing? Why are they having a dance in the hot tub?
I think it's literally just to stretch it out so he can play his whole tune over the top of it. It's like a music video.
I try to remember the lyrics, but it's all like, oh, love and kissing something. I don't know. It's wordy, basically. Very wordy.
That just sounds if those are the lyrics. That's just like a song written by someone who's never had a girlfriend.
Surely. So yeah, I was just watching it all, going, "What's gonna happen?" I was expecting at least a death or something. I don't know.
No, it just establishes they really like hot tubs and that kind of a thing.
And goes on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's way too long. If I was in charge of recut this movie, that would get cut in half, definitely. I'd cut off most of the shot of Tony Fisher's ass. It's way too lingering, almost like you said to the director, like, hey, get a shot of my ass.
Okay, something for the ladies.
But yeah, I do like how the film looks, though. Like I was saying before we started recording, like there's a lot of like cool, because it's all pretty much it's all set at night, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I guess because it starts... Yeah, it starts at the campfire.
Yeah, it's all one night, isn't it? Yes, it's all night. There's lots of like nice moonlit shots and stuff, great light. And I love all those shots in the flashback as well of Madman's feet walking through the house with the axe. Yeah. There's just something very cool and ominous about that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Arrow Blu-ray that I watched, like, it's cleaned up really well, and it's such a like amazing looking movie, I guess, for the... It's crazy to think, like, once upon a time, like, these two movies, people would have consumed them mostly on VHS. Yeah. Really, really grimy and stuff. And I'm not taking away from that experience, because I think that adds something to the experience as well. But I just think we're so lucky that we can, like, watch something like this. Yeah. And it's just so, like, fucking cleaned up and nice. And, like, for a movie like this, it could just be point the camera, act, move the camera, but he was definitely trying. Like,
yeah, you get a sense they're really trying. Yeah, because I don't think it wasn't a huge budgeted movie. I don't think, obviously, but yeah, you can tell they're all like really trying their best. Bless them. Yeah. Well, I like the score as well. It's like it's a lot of harsh synths. Like I love that noise when the title comes up and the credits like.
Yeah, it's all like blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's very like John Carpenter in places.
In places it is, yeah. Which is probably intentional.
Yeah, I was going to say the start bit. It's like very like Halloween-y sort of vibes or something. Yeah. I suppose it did get a bit slow towards the end. Like I mean, I think. Like an hour in, I think I realised that we had only had 2 kills so far, and I was thinking, oh, bloody hell.
It does take its time a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was tempted to like do the old crank it up to 1.5 speed.
Classic.
Just not like I assume it just wouldn't have hurt the film at all, basically. Because there's some scenes where it probably did linger a lot. I remember there's a particular scene where I think when they're going to the car and how am I getting it mixed up with the burning shit?
Maybe.
I might be. Is there a yellow car in the burning? Oh, no,
someone in Madman
bonnet.
gets. I think they get decapitated by the bonnet.
Yeah, it is bonnet. Fuck
yeah.
it. Yeah, thank God. I thought I was losing my marbles there. Yeah, the bit when she gets beheaded by the bonnet. I seem to remember there's something about that bit. It felt like so long. Like I was itching to skip through it. Basically,
lots of what they call in the business dick in a boot.
Basically, it was like, oh, come on, let's get on with it. But yeah, I quite enjoyed the bit where the Madman did like a gorilla press on someone. I thought,
oh yeah,
funny.
Yeah, he's a fucking big dude. That Paul Ellis.
Yeah, it's good. Just like lifted him right over his head. I honestly thought he was going to snap him in half as well. I don't know if that was like something that they were going to do, and it was like it didn't look right, but felt like it should have had more.
I tell you what scene's really impressive: the hanging scene where the Tony Fish character, TP gets hung. It's like it's a weird. It's one of the more brutal hangings I've seen in a horror movie.
Yeah, and like the fact that he like kind of rescues himself. Mm-hmm. But then he gets pulled down.
Yeah,
it just
like, no, you don't. Basically.
Yeah. It was brutal though, definitely. Yeah,
and the gross like colorless makeup they put on him, like you just blue face. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, definitely. Like more of that, basically. We needed more of that, and less fucking dancing in the hot tub and stuff. Basically.
Yeah, it's so long, that scene. It should be on the poster, really. Like it's a highlight of the movie. In some
probably
ways.
on the back of the box. It's
probably
just his ass.
Yeah. Just his ass, and then Madman.
But I did enjoy the bonnet beheading, though. Just speaking of the car scene and stuff, I thought that was like interesting, like kind of creative, and then when the character like opens the bonnet and sees the head and stuff and freaks out. It's quite cool. There's some pretty like neat setups, I guess.
I did see that the director was going for, or at least thought of Christopher Lee. Was it Christopher Lee or Vincent Price for the Max character, like the head? I think it might be
Vincent Price. I think I might have seen that in the trivia.
Because hell, that would have added some fucking kudos to the movie, wouldn't it? I think a lot more people would have seen it if Vincent Price was in it. Although it did well, this film. Weirdly, looking it up, I think it outgrossed The Burning.
That's mad. Yeah, because there isn't like, I mean, I don't suppose there is in either movies necessarily, but there isn't like a draw, is there really, on the posters? So then, like I said, it probably would have done better with something like Vincent Price or something.
I mean, nothing against the guy in Frederick Newman who plays Max, but like I can imagine that just imagine any campfire scene with Vincent Price telling you a story. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that would be really good. Yeah, missed opportunity.
Final thoughts, I guess.
I think it's an easy movie to chuck on at Halloween or enjoy a sort of slasher movie. I think it never quite does anything insanely gory, I don't think.
No, it's not an especially gory movie, no.
I think it's enjoyable. I think it's one of them movies that's like probably really vital in the like slasher sort of genre to like set up the whole idea, like this and Friday the 13th, I think.
Yeah, this Friday the 13th and The Burden are like the three early ones that are kind of like, the standard, I suppose. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, and I think actually as well, just before I forget, I think that I did make note that the Galen Ross, the girl that plays Betsy, like full on Bet Lynch vibes from her, like full on.
Yeah, a little bit young Bet Lynch.
Yeah, it's something about the eyes, I think.
Yeah, and weird. Yeah, but I think it's as well just maybe the hair, because I never think that when I watch Dawn of the Dead.
No.
It must just be the hair in this.
Yeah, something about it, yeah. The way she acted, I don't know what it was about it, but I was full on getting those vibes.
A lot of people have reviewed this film before. I guarantee you, this is the only podcast where you're going to hear a Coronation Street connection to Madman.
Yeah, I should probably explain in case anyone's like, Bet Lynch? Who's Bet Lynch?
Yeah.
Old landlady from Coronation Street.
Wait, I'm sure this is the film where, like, for years she wouldn't sign anything to do with Madman at conventions. I don't know why.
Interesting.
I think she does now.
Where does it stand? Is it, because I know like the Burning's like tied to like Video Nasties and stuff. Is Madman kind of one of them films?
I don't know. It wasn't on any official. It might be on the third. Like, well, we'll keep an eye on those lists, but I don't think so.
No,
it was never on the prosecutor list or like the seized list or anything.
So it was never like a banned sort of like, because I do think it's a fair enough movie. I think it's like I said, it's just easy and enjoyable. I think.
Yeah.
if it hadn't been so well shot and made, probably wouldn't recommend watching it. But I think because it kind of feels like they were actually trying and stuff, I think it is a good film.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's never been, like I said, I've only seen it twice, and I do love slasher movies. It's never, since I first watched it, it's never been one I wanted to go back.
Yeah.
And as much as I do The Burning, I like Friday the 13th sequel.
Yeah, I think well, like I said, it's probably just because you've got that like 1 hour. I mean, both of these films kind of suffer a little bit like that, where there's just a big chunk of nothing in the middle.
Yeah,
of the
well,
film.
you know, they can't just have like 90 minutes of murder.
I guess he just totally burnt out by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the madman goes to town. It like literally goes to the town and starts murdering people.
At least with The Burning, it fucking pays off after waiting for a little bit with like 5 people getting killed in the space of 20 seconds.
True. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, I enjoyed, just to wrap up the movie, I did quite enjoy the end credits as well, where again, like the song's all like, he was a madman in the forest.
It's a cool little, like, almost like nursery rhyme about the killer.
Again, just very wordy sort of song. That's good. But what, I mean, yeah, is that kind of the movie summarised? Where would you rank it in terms of slasher movies? Right at the bottom of the pile?
No, they're not at the bottom. I don't like I said, I don't dislike it. It's just not one I've ever thought. I think probably as well, because like I know the guys at Dead Pit fucking love Madman, and they would always talk about it. So I was like, I should probably watch it. And I think maybe it's just like their love of it in a way I was a bit like, that was okay. But then again, I really like The Burning. And they always say The Burning is shit compared to Madman. And a lot of people do. That's why I want to bring it up. Like, it's always like a weird, like, what do you like, Elvis or the Beatles? What do you like, Madman or The Burning?
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah, I just think that's a very, like, it's a safe, okay movie. It doesn't do anything dramatically good or bad, really. It's like, yeah. Although saying that, I was surprised by, you know, the main girl not being the main girl.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the ending is either like weirdly rushed or it's kind of original and cool. I can never decide. Like each day I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how it ends. That's weird.
Yeah, just the fade off shot of him going, rawr.
Yeah,
pretty much.
These little fucking Arnie noises he makes.
Yeah, it's like, okay, did he get out the house or did he just burn with all these shit? I guess.
Yeah, I think that is like, I think they've said like that was a genuine leave the door open for a sequel. For something, either do like the Richie character or Madman again, like leaving it open for Madman 2 type of thing.
Yeah, Madman 2, the campfire killings. I'm trying to think of a name off the top of my head. Something really easy and redundant.
Madman 2, even madder.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, they're going like the Die Hard route. Die Harder.
Madmanner. Madaman. So on to the merchant stuff. I mean, Arrow, like you said, put out the Blu-ray. It's chock full of stuff. You got a commentary from director Joe Gino and producer Gary Seals, actor Tony Fish, and Madman himself, Paul Ehlers. Another commentary by the podcast Hysteria Continues. Once again, when are we going to get a chance to do a podcast? Bunch of interviews, documentaries. A few of the interviews that Dead Pit, like I mentioned, did with Gary Seals and Paul Ehlers are on there. Yeah, just loads of stuff, really. Everything you would expect from a movie like this. Interviews. Commentaries and all that jazz.
Well, as I said, it looks great as well. So really, really like cleaned up well, this movie.
And it does have a 4K. Vinegar Syndrome put it out. It's pretty much the same extras. So there you go. Choice is yours.
Yeah. Art-wise.
Oh, yeah. Nathan Thomas Milner, his name rings a bell.
Yeah. Grey matter.
That is cool, actually.
Yeah, because
really nice.
You know, picked a good moment in the movie, representing art and stuff, and something that you don't see in the film, really. You know, I always like posters like that.
You don't see him at all, do you, really, in that?
Yeah. So, yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think the poster's not bad. The actual poster for the movie, that's generally the silhouette.
No, I like the main theatrical. Well, there's two, because there's like one that's the silhouette, and there's one that like is the silhouette, but it just has two random people on it, like a couple, a shirtless guy.
Yeah, it looks to me like maybe some sort of alternate US poster or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they decided, that needs like a shirtless guy and his girlfriend.
What is it back then with movies that just did that?
I don't know.
6-packs and stuff. Some artist in the industry was just like, give it a 6-pack.
Yeah, what the fuck is it with that poster? It's goofier than I remember, actually.
Yeah, just the guy with he's like casually like thumb in his pocket. He's all like, oh yeah, man.
With these fucking very high-waisted belt line there as well. It's over his navel. What the fuck?
And then just a little bit of under boob on the poster, obviously.
Yeah,
Gotta get that in. They thought they were alone.
I guess, it's implying the madman's about to fucking axe the shit out of the pair of them, but it just looks so, because when you see that, you can tell it's just been fucking tacked on there when you look at the original theatrical poster.
Yeah, so weird.
Which is really cool. I love how just simple that is. I love the font for the title, and they thought they were alone.
Yeah. He's like coming out of the fridge or something.
Yeah, he's actually looking in the fridge for a snack.
Just trying to interpret what's going on in the background, basically. But yeah, some of the other art there. I'm trying to think if I recognise some of it.
Oh, there's a Dude Designs ones here he did for that. I think that may be the Vinegar Syndrome release. Yeah, that's a cool one as well.
Yeah, and the Arrow cover. Mm-hmm. Like kind of redoing the concept with just the silhouette.
Yeah.
Pretty neat art, yes.
And that old DVD cover there with him in the trees. That's a cool shot in the movie as well. Where he's just like, you can't tell if it's a man or branches and stuff like that. That's pretty nice.
Like something like out of Predator or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice the way they slowly reveal the character and stuff, the murderer throughout the movie. So yeah,
just thinking of a stupid line. He said Predator. He was something in those trees. He's a madman.
If it had the guy from I forgot his name, but you'll be able to remind us. I feel like it's going to be Ian something or other. The dude from Zombie Flesh Eaters and stuff.
Oh, Ian McCulloch.
Ian McCulloch, yeah. If it was Ian McCulloch doing it, he would be like, "You mean he's a man, but he's mad? A madman?"
He's a madman.
They would totally do that.
God bless you, Ian.
Don't know why my brain went straight at that. Probably because I've been watching The Beyond recently.
Maybe, yeah.
Something to do with it.
I think it's just any time there's the word man is in a sentence, because I just remember you laughing at the way he says, "A man," in Zombie Flesh.
Oh, man.
Champion Cinema.
So, yeah, The Burning, released the same year. So, like we said earlier, a bit of a mad-packed year, really, for stuff.
Yeah, I reminded myself before, I was like, I'm sure 81 is like the benchmark slasher year, and it is. If you just search 81 slasher movies, I was like, fuck, I forgot that some of them came out in 81.
Crazy, yeah.
It's literally at the height of the boom, pretty much.
Yeah, just 70s murder was probably on the top of everyone's minds and stuff, and everyone wanted to see it in the movies.
Just everyone trying to cash in on Halloween and then Friday the 13th, basically. Yeah.
With a run time of 1 hour and 31 minutes, The Burning marks film debuts of several actors.
Yes, it does.
Which I'll get to. But it is directed by Tony Maylam, and it stars Brian Matthews as Todd, Leah Ayres as Michelle, Brian Backer as Alfred, Larry Joshua as Glazer, Jason Alexander as Dave, Ned Eisenberg as Eddie, Cara Glenn as Sally, Carolyn Houlihan as Karen, Fisher Stevens as Woodstock, and last but not least, Lou David as Crupsy.
Big Lou.
Yep. So what's it about, though?
Well, when a prank gone wrong results in a summer camp's creepy, cantankerous caretaker being immolated while he sleeps, he sets out... Sorry. He sets out 5 years later after recovering in hospital to murder anyone at his old stomping grounds.
After, firstly, dispatching a prostitute for no reason.
He just fucking penned a bank.
Because, straight off the bat, my criticism of this film would have made way more sense if, I don't know, maybe it's that scene in particular would have made way more sense if he had been killed by girls. Maybe, or there was at least, a woman there in that scene, and she was laughing, and that was burned into his mind that she was laughing.
Well, I guess probably initially, I think I always took it as he was literally just I need to get laid. I've been in hospital for 5 years. Then he goes, and then she gets a glimpse at his face and she's like, "Oh my God, you're disgusting." And he's like, "Fuck you." and then he's like, "Well, that was a practice killing." See,
wow, you've really rationalised killing. I was like, why did you do that? But that's really framed that scene pretty well. I was just stupid.
I was going to say stupid.
But I did laugh at that lady's acting, though. It did get a chuckle out of us. Just the whole, when he grabs her, she's like,
yeah.
There's something about it. I just have a feeling they did that all in one take.
I will say, though, the stabbing in the gut is very nasty with the scissors.
Yeah. Well, again, semi-criticism of the movie almost is you think, fucking hell, Jesus, this film. What is this film going to be?
Yeah.
And then for the next hour, you don't get that.
No.
I would argue for the rest of the film, you don't get that much.
No, it's not. It's still violent, but it's not like that's easily the nastiest bit in the film as far as just blunt violence. Like obviously the raft scene we'll talk about in a bit is like super fucking violent.
Yeah, it's just bananas.
But like that scene in particular, it's like the shot of like the knife going in the fake stomach, which looks great because obviously it's Savini at his peak.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not peak, but you know, it's still height of his powers. And then the shot of like obviously the half like a scissor jungling around in the blood squirt. Now that's fucking awful.
It's so well done though as well. Like there's no seam. There's no. You know what I mean? Like you don't be like, yeah, but it's just a dummy, or you can see that it's latex.
No,
I think it's really well done, and I think it's a scene that probably deservedly at the time probably got this film in the shit, I suppose.
Yeah,
to some degree. You know, like it's quite violence against women. You know, like prostitutes, the whole thing. I just feel like, I could see like people criticizing this for just being like super exploited of that just opening up with like, kill a prostitute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey, what's the first thing he does after he gets out of hospital? Kills a woman.
Yeah, and like really violently as well. So, yeah.
Because like I don't know if it's just because I've always thought this film stood out as like being not necessarily super mean spirited, but definitely more upfront with its violence than like even the early Friday the 13th and Madman and stuff like that. But like, I don't know if it's just because Savini had just done Maniac, and I'm like, is that why this film's so brutal? He was still in like his Maniac headspace.
Yeah, maybe. Like, how far can we push it, basically?
And as well, you got to remember, we've got to mention the fucker, but this is especially the first Miramax movie. This is Harvey and Bob Weinstein's first production job, like first time producing a movie. Maybe they were like, just fucking go for it. We want to be better than Friday the 13th. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Did I notice like the name that always sticks in my head, Corky Burger?
Corky Burger, what a name.
Yeah, they were
sounds like a restaurant, doesn't it?
It literally does. I'm sure they're on it like to do with Miramax, like one of the founding people of Miramax or something. Or...
I'm not sure. The only fucking film I associate Corky Burger with is this movie. I mean, I'm sure he's done more, but I just know every time I see his name on the credits of this, I'm like, Corky Burger.
I could be wrong, but I have a feeling they're like intrinsically linked to Miramax or something.
Maybe.
Through some way. But yeah, the name always popped out at me as well, Corky Burger. Another
highlight at the start is the really insensitive nurse who's like, man, come take a look at this guy.
Yeah,
he's
like,
burnt to a fucking crisp. The freak.
I did make note. I made note. Doctor, nurse, Porter? Question mark.
Yeah.
Like, because he's all like, come see, man. Oh my God, fuck it. God damn. And that poor guy's like just in there going, oh.
And then he's fantastic acting when Cropsy grabs his arm.
Yeah.
He screams for way too long. He's literally like freshly burnt weak. He could just be like, get off. That's enough of that, Cropsy. Come on.
I do like that they just like kick him out. That's classic American health system for you.
And it's like, oh, better buy.
Kick him out into the streets.
Oh, better buy. Give me $500,000, please.
Yeah, that's the true horror story. What was his medical bill?
I think they cut that scene out. That's literally the incentive he goes back to kill because he sees the bill and goes, well, fuck it. I may as well go kill them.
I'm not going to pay for that.
I do like as well how we just get 5 years later.
Yeah, it's a hell of a time jump.
If this was remade, we'd have to view that 5 years over 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, maybe they'll do a Burning prequel at some point. A prequel TV show.
Get Rob Zombie to do it.
Oh, God, imagine.
And there's some hillbilly doctor who comes in and calls him Barbecue Boy every day or something.
Yeah. And he like tries to fix his face or something.
Yeah, and fucks it up. That's why he looks even worse. Yeah.
God, don't give him ideas.
It's probably his next movie. He'll probably just curse himself. But yeah, not like I said about comparing the two films. Like we always said a little bit earlier, not to compare them too much. But like the main difference for me between this and Madman is the characters here feel like real people and unlikable and have natural fucking discussions with each other that feel natural. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I think the interactions and the dialogue's definitely better. And I think, like, obviously, I don't know whether I'm biased, but a real shining star of this movie is Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
I think, like, for all he doesn't do a huge amount.
I honestly think, considering we were just talking about him last week, I think he's doing a Busey here and he's just ad-libbing every other fucking line.
Yeah.
Because his lines are always like a notch above and a bit funnier and a bit cleverer than everyone else's.
It's just like got so much charisma. Like, he's so noticeable when he's on camera and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a shame that like he didn't have more to do in the movie. I
No,
guess.
at least he survived. Though I'm always glad that I've always been glad that he survived. Yeah.
And we get to see his ass at one point as well.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Speaking of which, I always noticed Fisher Stevens got a weird ass.
Yeah.
He's got a very strange ass. That boy.
Don't think I noticed.
It's hard not to. I've seen it that many times. I was like, oh, put it away, Fisher. Come on.
Nobody wants to see that.
He just has a very small butt crack.
I'll have to go back.
Go and watch it. Go double check his ass.
I must have been making notes in that scene.
But yeah, I always liked in my own head just to make myself chuckle that this is actually a George prequel and he changed his name. This is why George is such a mess in Seinfeld, because he had to go through the massacre and the burn. It doesn't help as well that the Alfred character looks a lot like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It's the early years of Jerry and George.
Maybe it's Larry David saw this and it's all a lie. He's just like, give him inspiration. But no, I don't know, some things about the movie that I kind of didn't love.
Yeah.
Like, I think some of the scenes are like a little bit long. And there's times where like kind of suffers similar to Madman, but like there's a canoe bit where they're rafting, and there's like a campfire scene that I just feel like kind of goes on for like outstays its welcome just a smidge. It's like sort of 5 minutes too long. Where like, come on, get on with it.
My favourite campfire bit is the bit like when they redo it at the end with another group of campers. And that guy telling the story is just fucking acting his arse off. I love the way he ends, you're dead. It's so fucking full of camp bravado. Like, you're dead. Such a great fucking final shot.
He's going for the Oscar.
Yes.
I also think like shears as a murder weapon, it's awkward.
It's awkward, but it's original.
You wouldn't pick that up. You just be like, fucking, I'm going to use a machete. I know that other fella does it, but it's easy.
Yeah,
Machetes.
It's his gimmick though. He was a caretaker. He would have been fucking using them to cut down branches and shit all the time. You know? There is one thing I'm always like, was he a twat? Or was this just a bunch of kids picking on some fucking poor kid?
Doesn't really set it up, does it? I mean, the only negative thing it does say about him is that he's an alcoholic, right?
Yeah. Poor fucking guy.
Yeah, they're just like accidentally. Firstly, I mean, I thought they were putting fireworks in his little hut. I thought that was the setup. And then when it reveals it's like some sort of burning skull
with maggots on it.
I was like, is that a real skull? Like, what the hell?
That always bothers me how awkwardly done that is. How he like goes and just twats it onto his legs.
Yeah, and then just goes on fire. And then obviously, which I mean, I'll backtrack a little bit here, but like, mad fire stunt, but probably OTT in terms of like you can clearly see it's like a guy with a helmet on.
Well, it's us, you know.
But it's like insane that they just went there, like full body fire stunt. It's like fucking hell, so dangerous.
I always thought it was interesting, like considering like a lot of the artwork for this film at the time and stuff's pretty cool. The like video nasty like UK video release is just like a behind the scenes still shot of that fire stunt.
Yeah, really.
Just him on fire, the burning. That was one of the most bland video boxes ever.
It's like, can't be asked.
Yeah. What's it about? Burning. Okay. Well, I guess back to the characters. Like, at least there's some story arcs within all the killing. There's not really in Madman, besides like, he's such a dick, but he's nice sometimes. That's about all you get, really.
Yeah,
but,
pretty much.
And like, you know, there's flawed characters. The Eddie character, like, he seems okay, but he's probably like a future rapist. If he hadn't have died, he's a bit fucking forceful.
I did say like I made note, I should say, that like a lot of the men seem super rapey.
Yeah, they do.
In the way they kind of come across. I don't know, horny teenage or whatever,
like,
young
Eddie's
20s.
far too horny. Okay,
Yeah.
just go have a wank.
But it's like, it's problematic.
Yeah.
At best.
On the flip side, though, you got the Glazer character who's a typical like insecure bullying prick. And even though he's a bad shagger, he treats his lady with respect.
He does.
He goes off, keeps her warm, goes gets the matches, sings light a fire and stuff. He's actually decent.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be the like really forceful rapey one, but
No. Yeah, I'm trying to think with the other. Was it Woodward or something, or what was the Woodstock? That's
Woodstock. Yeah, Fisher
Woodstock,
Stevens. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was quite brutal, like how he goes out in the movie, which I suppose we should talk about, really. The
Raft scene.
raft scene.
Which is pretty, it's very elaborate, but pretty, I just like to, because basically what Cropsey does is lets all the canoes go, and then just hides in a canoe waiting to be found. And I'm like, what if he just kept like drifting down the river and he's just lying there for days going, Jesus.
It's like all sunburned and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, but that's what the story's about. It's the burning. It's just him getting sunburned.
It's a subplot they missed there.
Because he's lying in the raft. And
That's why he's so fucking mad when he comes out the raft. He's been waiting there getting sunburned for like 12 hours. But yeah, just like it's such a good build up to just the camera's telling you he's in there. By the way, like, you don't see him, but the camera's like, all these kids are going to die right now.
I think it's quite good though that maybe the audience could have expected there was going to be a body in there as well. Or something.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe that was their angle, but yeah, you kind of. You're on tenterhooks waiting because you know something's going to happen. Basically.
Yeah, I think of like the music. Obviously, the music is like the music's so like just like building up to them getting closer. If it was a bit more subtle, the jump scare might have been even better.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the way he bursts out for one with like as a silhouette with like the sky behind him. Such a great fucking shot, and just it's the fucking monstrous noise he makes as he comes out as well.
It's very iconic. That
it is,
though, very iconic. Hardly seeing the film myself like for years and stuff. I had always like seen that image about, I guess.
Yeah. And it's just like a massacre, basically.
It's like, you know the bit in what should we call it? Is it Life of Brian? I'm trying to think. You know where like everyone just gets totally murdered. Is it Life of Brian?
I think it's Holy Grail.
It's Holy Grail. Sorry, it's Holy Grail, where John Cleese just runs into the castle and murders everyone. It's that, but on a raft.
It's the bit where he runs past and chops and slits the guy's throat. He was doing the documentary.
Yeah,
that like. On a loop, basically.
Because like you don't get time to really process that. Like, I mean, Woodstock gets his fingers fucking cut off and stuff.
Sliced off with a fucking pair of shears.
That girl gets like slashed in the face, and she Kevy Kendall.
He slashes at her, she falls back, and then he just whoops his shears at her forehead and just slices her fucking forehead open, basically.
So ridiculously violent.
And then when the Eddie character gets killed, he falls back and he just jams his shears into his throat, basically, and you get that close-up shot of him twisting the shears as he gargles blood.
You know, like, considering when it was, this film and stuff, I think the blood effects are like, I don't know, the deep reds is something you don't see a great deal, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's Savini, isn't it? Like, but with the exception of Dawn of the Dead, he's always, king of that stuff. Realistic, but, splatter at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I said, just come off Maniac, so he was obviously fucking penned up about something.
Going nuts. Yeah. Going through a divorce or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I just like to imagine them like, so you pop out, you're gonna swing the shears at the camera and we're gonna cut. Tom Savini's like, yeah, but what about fucking like, all right, Tom, you can direct this scene. But yeah, it's a very good scene. It's like, it's up there. I think for me, it's this and coincidentally the shotgun scene in Maniac are my two favourite kills in a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. And Andy's handstand death in Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that is quite cool, actually. Just gets, like, chopped, basically, or whatever he does. He chops down on him, doesn't he?
Basically, down to his crotch, basically, and just splits him in half.
Classic.
Yeah, I think the reason that stands out so much in Friday 3, apart from it just being great, is because, like, most of the film isn't that brutal, and that one is just suddenly brutal for some reason.
It comes out of nowhere.
I will say, as much as I love the burn, the film probably peaks at that point. I don't think it's got the strongest final. The finale probably drags weirdly.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like almost like a different kind of movie when they're like in that like. So like Concrete Factory or something like in the.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a mine like entrance or something. That's what I was saying when I was watching. I was like, I wonder where the fuck this is. Like how the hell did they find this location?
Looks like a real location that was legitimately abandoned, basically. Yeah, probably chanced upon it with scouting and stuff. Like great location, but just kind of has a different feel about it at the end of the movie and stuff.
It's funny though because Madman's ending is kind of like over before it begins, whereas this one's kind of should be over before before it is. Yeah.
It's like they needed to talk to each other and balance each other out or something.
They could have just collaborated, made like fucking mad double monster movie. It would have been awesome.
I mean, I do like that they try to like do something where the reveal at the end that like Todd is like one of the original kids.
Yeah, he's the young kid in the flashback at the start. Yeah.
Which is, it's something, I guess. And like it's trying to tie the movie back together. That's what he's doing. He's getting revenge and stuff. And it's interesting that it never quite gets there, but it did make us think of like Nightmare on Elm Street type stuff, you know, like guy
yeah.
being burnt,
Yeah,
come back
exactly.
with blades,
Yeah,
murdering, like, you know, representations of the people that hurt him.
Exactly,
Something kind of. I know, like, totally not the same thing because Nightmare on Elm Street's about, you know, a demon
Yeah,
monster that invades your dreams.
dreams
And
is the,
whatnot.
you know, yeah, it's
Yeah.
you know, they did the burnt killer before
Yeah.
Freddy. So.
Yeah. So it's just kind of a note that I made for myself. Kind of like, you know, the fact that the set him on, I mean, the double tap, basically, that I laughed at.
Yeah.
They set him on fire, and then he just axes him in the heat.
Yeah, insult injury, basically.
Which is, you know, you got to make sure he's dead, basically.
Well,
You're
true.
like, not
Yeah.
fucking coming back.
They would definitely put an exclamation point on, like, it's not going to be a sequel.
Yeah, not this time. I did notice there's quite a lot of weird editing around that whole bit. When the mine cart like rolls down the hill, he jumps out the way. And I know this is like a common mistake, like continuity errors and stuff, but something about that whole bit feels choppy. And then also you see it a moment later, like the mine cart is like back in its original place and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And there's a bit where like he's lying on the ground, Todd. Oh, sorry, no, he stood up, but then you see a shot of a hand like picking up the axe, but it's clear that the hand is like somebody that's lying on the floor. And I just felt like, I wonder if they like changed something about how it was going to end.
They might have rearranged it in the editing or changed something and just used that shot. Realised they forgot to go back and redo that shot or something. Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, I mean, it's a tough one for me. I think Burning probably edges it out in terms of like the characters and stuff. But I do think it does have its problems in terms of like just too much fucking around.
Oh, yeah,
in the middle bit.
It's not a perfect movie by any means.
No. But I just mean like, if I had to pick my favourite, probably Burning out of the two. But I don't think there's a gulf between them either. You know what I mean? Like for me, I don't think the Burning like absolutely trounced Madman or anything.
I wouldn't say it trounces it. I just prefer the Burning.
Yeah.
Always have.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, good films though. I think good easy films.
Fun double bill for Halloween if you want some slasher movies. Maybe if you haven't seen them before, they're very similar. So if you like one, you'll probably find stuff you like in the other one as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, definitely.
Also, a shout out to Rick Wakeman from Yes, his bombastic keyboard score, which I love.
Yeah,
And it's definitely worth getting. I think it's been reissued now, but like the side A is basically like his compositions of the score, which is just pure funky progressive rock, and then the side B is the actual score from the movie. So you get two albums basically.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's very cool. And also, I wanted to mention, I haven't seen it for years because I could kind of remember it. There's a documentary about the original Cropsey urban legend, which goes into like where it possibly came from and stuff like that. It's quite interesting.
Yeah,
It was on Netflix probably 10 years ago now, but it's if you want to know more about the actual urban legend, I would recommend tracking it down, giving it a watch.
cool. Yeah, we'll have to. Yeah.
As well, mentioned that, of course, this was one of the banned video nasties over here for a kind of a weird reason, because it was cut for cinemas, as you expect. BBC were like, no. But then, because like it was Thorn EMI released it, so like one of the more high-profile companies that got mixed up and all that, they accidentally released it uncut on video.
Oh dear.
That BBC were like, well, that's cheeky.
Yeah, you're right.
And when they realised, they quickly re-released it, but it was still banned.
Yeah, and there was copies out there by that point.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
was checking up on that today. I didn't realise that original uncut tape is one of the rarer ones to find now.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Was it? I'm trying to remember. It was a couple of weeks ago that I looked at the trivia, but was it like one of the early or first ones, or the Burning on the list, basically?
I don't know. No idea.
I feel like I saw something about that. Like it was one of the ones, the first on the top of the list, basically.
It might have
On the
been
other
just
top of the list.
because like, you know, it was an uncut version of something the BBFC had already passed with cuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe.
Like I said earlier, I can see why. I wonder how it correlates in terms of like, I don't know, some sort of like murders that were happening at the time, or like violence against prostitutes or something.
Nah.
I just think people would watch though that first opening bit and probably wouldn't get past that in terms of like, this film's deplorable. And
Well, yeah, you mean like the people watching it, like checking it out, for the censorship purposes.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that scene was probably on fucking James Furman's reel. He used to go around and show people. Where he just used to cobble together all violent scenes. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you fucking showed it out of context.
yeah. Like, this lady is a young mother.
Yeah. It was pretty genius, though. They go into that. I think it's on the second Video Nasties doc. Like they say, like James Furman used to go, I'm going to show you some really violent scenes now from films. And then he would show them all. Everyone would be like, fucking hell. You know, do like a room of suits, basically.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, good Lord. And then he'd say, okay, now I'm going to show you the uncut versions.
Yeah. It's good marketing that way.
It is, yeah. Because he like, I think it was Alan Jones was like, I fucking hate censorship, but I was in one of those meetings once and he even got me. I was like, this is just deplorable.
Yeah, all it takes is a charismatic frontman.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
To go on that mad witch hunt.
So I guess merch in the US Scream Factory put it out on 4K not too long ago. So you've got commentary from Tony Malum and Alan Jones, who I just mentioned. Audio commentary from actresses Shelley Bruce and Bonnie Dorosky. Blood and Fire Memories from the old MGM DVD from 2007, which has I think that's the one I think that has his behind the scenes footage he shot at the time, Savini. And an interview with Savini, interview with Jack Shaw, interview with Lou David, interview with Leah Ayres from Bloodsport, of course.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes footage, theatrical trailer, makeup effects, and posters and still gallery. So, yeah. And Arrow released it on Blu-ray, but that was a long time ago. I don't think they've reissued it. And I'm guessing they'll put it out on 4K soon. So.
Yeah, feels about right, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, that was a slasher. Although, but no fucking artwork.
So yeah, a couple of bits. Mondo print by Phantom City Creative.
That might be the cover of my steelbook.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it's, it is a cover.
Yeah.
Of the steelbook. So, of the Blu-ray, definitely. So yeah, nice.
That is very nice. Yeah.
One by Chris Garofalo. Again, like kind of nice imagery using the light shears, but like fire imagery in the middle. Yeah, kind of interesting.
I like the top one with Cropsy's face.
Yeah,
because you don't like it's one of those films. All like, it's like Jason. They keep his reveal of his wounds till the very end, and he looks great.
Yeah, that doesn't overly show or anything.
No.
Yeah, got a great effect when he gets axed in the face.
Yep.
So looking at International posters. So yeah, I guess is that this? Well, that's the original cinema poster. Maybe is the one.
One of the people in the lake.
Yeah,
that's just the original one sheet. Yeah,
which is cool. I think that's a really strong. Poster.
Once again, like Madman, just bang. At least that one makes more sense. Banging a couple on the front. Necking in a lake.
It gives you everything you need to know. There's a madman with shears on the loose, and young people are getting naked.
I tell you what, I've never fucking understood that poster with just the kid's face.
Oh,
to the right, with a flame in his eye. I'm like, what the fuck's on about?
Yeah, it almost suggests that like he was killed by a child. Burnt by a child or something. Yeah, a bit weird. And obviously, for both movies, there's no wider collectibles like action figures or anything.
No.
That's a shame. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, I want a Glazer figure. That's what I want. I love his little high-waisted pants and his little tank tops and stuff. Yeah. Little Jason Alexander figure.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Fucking McFarlane should have done like a diorama of like the Raft Massacre.
It's just the bodies. That would have been amazing, It was a bit too much for them.
Little canoe with Cropsy popping out of all these shears in the air and stuff. I would have bought it.
There's like a little lever that pops him up.
Yeah. And it goes.
Champion Cinema.
So yeah, that's that. Fun few couple of slasher movies there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, easy watches for Halloween, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So next week the theme is killer cars.
Yes.
It's the finale. Yeah, it's the finale. It'll be the finale of October.
It will, yeah. I forgot, like, we're having like 5 weeks technically on in October.
Yeah,
so
5 1.
Keep thinking we're just doing 4.
So it's the car and Christine next week. So as usual, you can find us on Instagram at Champion Cinema Pod. Go rate and review the show on iTunes. No, sorry, Apple Podcasts.
Changed.
I need to update my notes. And Spotify. And like I said, even if you don't use Spotify, listeners, if you have it, go give us a little 5-star rating because it helps.
Yes.
You know what? We just fucking hit 100 listens on Spotify. Ooh. We're essentially like, it's like it was Joe Rogan and then us. We're big time.
Triple digits.
So until next week, folks, with the car and Christine, I will see you, Dan Pitt.
See you in the heap.